What is up guys, Light here. In today's video, we're gonna check out iOS 14.5 on the iPhone 11. So the first change that we do get right here is that if you have an Apple Watch paired with your iPhone and you happen to be wearing a mask, well, similar to the feature that we already have on the Mac, which we're able to unlock it using our Apple Watch, that same feature is now available on the iPhone. So you could do this by going inside settings, and inside settings, in Face ID and passcode, and if you scroll all the way down here, you will see here a new section to unlock with Apple Watch. Similar to the feature that we have available on the Mac, your Apple Watch needs to be near your iPhone. And if Face ID detects that you are wearing a mask, it would allow you to unlock your iPhone. And right now, you can see on my reflection that I am wearing a mask and I am able to unlock my iPhone right here. And in the event that you want to lock your iPhone, you could just tap lock here and your iPhone would ask for your passcode again to enable Face ID. And the other way around, if you use your iPhone to unlock your Apple Watch, we now get a notification saying that we've unlocked our Apple Watch, which should look like this. Also, in iOS 14.5 comes official support for Find My Items, so right here on the Find My app, we could go ahead and add items that are supported by the Find My network, or you could go ahead and add Apple's own AirTags. Another change that we got here that is specific for the iPhone 11 is that we do get battery recalibration. The way this works is that your battery gets recalibrating while it's charging. You could monitor this by going inside settings, in battery, and you could tap your battery health. And we should get here a message depending if your battery has been recalibrated or not, which we do get here a message saying that our battery reporting system is still recalibrating the maximum capacity and performance, which might take up a few weeks. Which in my case, after a few weeks, the battery was recalibrated and I only have the maximum capacity of 82%. But there are others reporting that they do get higher scores, so let us know in the comment box below. Did you get a higher maximum capacity or a lower one? Now the next update that we have is if you do have an Apple Watch paired with your iPhone, if you go inside accessibility and if you scroll down, you should see a new section for headphone notification. And if you turn that on, that is similar to the feature that we already have in iOS 14.4, which warns you if you are listening to music that is too loud, that might end up damaging your hearing. Also in iOS 14.5 comes improvements in instant switching, so this should minimize the errors that we do encounter when switching between devices. Also with the release of iOS 14.5 comes the implementation of app tracking transparency. The way this works is that if you have an app that does track you, it should now ask for your permission to track you, which you could opt not to track, which you could monitor this inside privacy, in tracking, which all of the apps that track you would be listed right there. Also in iOS 14.5, now we do get new controller support for the iPhone. So if you do have the new DualSense or the new Xbox controller, you could pair it with your iPhone and use it on your compatible apps. Also, if you're someone that uses the Translate app, you could now control the playback speed right here. So you could go ahead and haptic touch on the play button right here and it would give you the speed options that you could choose from. Also in iOS 14.5, we can now silent unknown callers, so if you turn this on, that would redirect them to voicemail or just the recent list. Now the next change that we do get is inside the weather app, and on some locations we get next hour precipitation information. Like right here in London, we have here the sleet for the next hour displayed here on the top. And for you guys that are a fan of shortcuts, we now get a new action to take a screenshot. So now if we tap here add an action and let's search for screenshot. And right here we get the action take screenshot. Also in this update, we do get lots of improvement in the music app, starting first with animated album artwork such as this one for Taylor Swift's album, and this other album, Wonder by Shawn Mendes, Jaguar by Victoria Monette, and Big Sean's Detroit 2. Now the next change that we do get right here is inside the music app. So if you're familiar with the For You section, it has been renamed to Made For You, which are just playlists made by Apple for you depending on your music preference, which originally can be found here on the Listen Now tab on the For You section. Also, in the Browse section right here, there is a new section for city charts, which are basically the top 25 songs playing around the world by cities. So you could go ahead and check this out to hear what others are listening to around the world. And speaking of music, inside the music app, we do get a new updated button right here. So all the add buttons has been redesigned to a simple plus button like you see on this one, which if we compare that from the previous update on iOS 14.4, we get this add button right here with the word add. Also, if we go ahead and scroll down, you can see that we get a new button right here on the side, which is the more button, which previously on iOS 14.4 and below that was just the add to library button. So if we go ahead and tap one of these buttons right here, you can see that we get quick access to many options right here to add to library, remove, and so on. Which previously you could already do this by just haptic touching on a song and that gives you the menu. And since that is component based, so that should be also reflected all over the app. And as you can see right here, the changes for the add button and more button has been applied to the view. Which comparing that from the previous update on iOS 14.4 and below, we only get the add to library button right here. But with the new update, we do get new swipe gestures. So if we go ahead and swipe to the right, we get here a new option to play next, play last, or if we go ahead and swipe to the left, we get here a download button and also a delete from library button, as you can see right here. Which previously on iOS 14.4 or below, we have no swipe gestures available. And also, if you do have a song that's not yet added to your library, you can just go ahead and swipe to the left and that should be added to your library. Also, you might have noticed right here that we do get a redesigned download button. So right now, it's just an arrow pointing down. Unlike previously on iOS 14.4 and below, it used to be a cloud with a down arrow, but now it's just plainly a down arrow right here. And in the event that you do try to download a song or something from Apple Music, there is now a new downloaded indicator, which you can see right here, a gray dot with a download icon. Also, we get other improvements right here, such as in the menu, we get a redesigned menu list, which is a lot more sleek and compact, which if we compare that from the previous update, it used to be a drawer that slides up, which you also need to scroll down just to see the other options. And also that reflects on the now playing screen, which we have here the nice redesigned menu list. Unlike before, as mentioned in iOS 14.4, it used to be a list that slides up from the bottom. Also, for you guys that do like to listen to music and there's a specific part of the song that you would like to share, now on iOS 14.5 we're able to share lyrics, so you could go ahead and share that to any social media platform or even iMessage. When in this case, if we do send it in iMessage, the user could go ahead and preview that song starting from the first line that you selected up to the last line that you selected on the lyrics, which that person is also able to interact with that song, and that would redirect them to Apple Music starting from the first lyric that you have selected. Also, with iOS 14.5 comes new emojis. In fact, there are a lot of new emojis in iOS 14.5, from new emojis, beards for all, tone couples, and revamp emojis. And in fact, these are a lot of emojis covered in this video, so I'm just gonna put down the link in the description box below, or you can scan the code right here somewhere on the screen that would redirect you to that website. And also for you guys that use the podcast app, as you can see, we now get a new redesign for the podcast app. And if we go ahead and try to look for a random show right here, you can see we get also the same banner similar to the one that we have on Apple TV. So now we get a uniform design for Apple Music, TV, and podcasts. though we don't get a recently search on the podcast app. Also, if you do use Siri to send messages, we get a new design for message previews. So as you can see right here, we get this new minimalistic design. Also, we get a new interface when asking Siri to call emergency services. So as you can see right here, we have a countdown with a cancel button and a call button. Now, for the next update that we have is inside the Reminders app, and if you go to a Reminders list, right here on the top here on the Options button, we now get an option to sort our reminders. And if you go ahead and tap that, we have here the options to sort our reminders manually by due date, creation date, priority, or by title. Unlike before, in iOS 14.4, we only get these options right here, where we could just go with the name and appearance, select reminders, and show completed. Now the next update that we have is inside Apple Maps. So if we go ahead and go to a destination, so I'm just gonna choose this one for our example, tap on get directions and go. And as you can see here on the bottom, we have here a new menu drawer to see the overview, details, and our route. Unlike previously, it was just an end button and you need to scroll up to see the details. Also, with iOS 14.5, you can now use Siri to set your default music app. So as you can see right here, I am asking Siri to play an audio, and now I can choose between all the audio compatible apps that I have here. So for instance, I'm gonna tap here on Spotify, and that would be able to set Spotify as my default music player. But don't worry, Siri would be able to interchange your default app. So for instance, I'm going to ask Siri right here to play me a music using Apple Music. So it would be able to do so. And that would set Apple Music as my default music player. So if I ask Siri again to play me a song, Siri would use the last app that I used to play me that song, as you can see right here. But if I want to go ahead and switch to Spotify, I'm gonna ask Siri to do that, as you can see right here. And it would use Spotify to play the music that I want. And if I go ahead and ask Siri again to change the music, it would use again the last app that I use, which in this case, we use Spotify. So it's going to use Spotify to play a new song. Which you can see right here, we are asking Siri to play a new song, and it would use the last app as my default to play the new song. Which also this change does reflect on the Apple Watch. So this was a screenshot that I had before when I asked Siri to play me a song. It asked me which app would I like to use, whether music, podcasts, audiobooks, or Spotify. Also, for some of you guys that do use the News app, there is a new For You section in Apple News Plus. The last change that we got is inside Siri and Search. And if we go inside Siri Voice, in American, there are new voices available.
Hi, I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
Hi, I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
Hi, I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
Hi, I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
And if we compare that from the previous version, previously we have a different label right here. If we go inside the Siri Voice right here, on the top we have here accent, and on the bottom we have here gender. While on the recent one we have here variety and voice. Lastly, running a performance test on the iPhone 11 running iOS 14.5, we got the score of 1,328 for single core and 3,479 on multi-core, which if we compare that from the average performance of the iPhone 11, we got higher scores in single core and multi-core. Which if we compare that from the previous update, we got the score of 1,340 for single core and 3,418 for multi-core. But keep in mind that this performance test was based on an iPhone that has 82% of maximum capacity. So you might get higher or lower scores depending on your device. Now running another performance test using Antutu benchmark, we got a score of 517,088 for the iPhone 11. Which on the previous update, we got the score of 475,681 for the iPhone 11. That means we're still able to get good performance from the powerful A13 Bionic chip on the iPhone 11. So you can still use your favorite apps and do whatever you want with your iPhone. Another question that I normally get in these types of videos is that how's the battery life? Well, you already saw that I'm already down to 82% maximum capacity. So I'm getting around 3 to 4 hours of battery life. But I could also extend this by using my Apple Watch as an extension for my iPhone. So all of the tasks that my Apple Watch can do in behalf of my iPhone, I do try to make use of that, and that allows me to conserve battery on my iPhone and still last throughout the day. So that is it guys, that is iOS 14.5 on the iPhone 11. Let us know if you spot other changes in the comment box below. And also before the video ends, I would like to thank you that we are around 3,000 subscribers, and that's all thanks to you guys. Thank you for all the support and help in building our channel. And as always guys, thank you for watching and please subscribe for more.